This global intelligence briefing from April 13, 1721, arrived in Philadelphia, showing the immediate pressures of the early 18th century. It contains reports of state executions, a man transforming into a wolf, and tracks millions in physical wealth moving across the ocean, and crews reduced to short allowance when ships failed. Today, we examine the original text of these dispatches, covering failed naval offensives, mutinies, and a shocking European trial. These reports were printed and sold in Philadelphia by Andrew Bradford. For a colonist in 1721, this single sheet consolidated the geopolitical threats that defined their worldview. We begin with a dispatch from Constantinople. It details a diplomatic struggle between the Ottoman Empire and the Dutch Republic over the actions of the Algerian corsairs. The Grand Vizier is pressuring the Algerians to renew peace and offer restitution for the ships and effects taken by their fleets. In the financial center of London, reports indicate a significant movement of capital. Customs records show thousands of ounces of foreign gold and silver being exported to Holland in a matter of days. This focus on international commerce extends to reports from the East Indies. 6 commissioners from the Great Mogul have arrived to address trade complaints. They are formally remonstrating against the East India Company, citing specific grievances from Indian merchants. Closer to the American coast, the paper notes a shift in the administration of the Caribbean. The report states the government's intention to take the Bahama Islands into their own hands, moving away from local proprietorship. Across these reports, trade grievances and the movement of hard currency appear as the recurring subjects of international diplomacy. In the Gulf of Mexico, a Spanish attempt to project military force was recently derailed by the weather. An armed squadron had been set to retake Pensacola from French control. The mission failed when a storm surprised the fleet, casting away 2 men of war. The loss of those ships coincided with the urgent outfitting of new escorts in Corona. 2 men of war were prepared to meet and convoy a returning fleet from New Spain. The protection was for a massive cargo, over 8 million in ingots, pieces of 8, and gold dust. These shipments represented a significant concentration of imperial wealth, making them vulnerable targets during the Atlantic crossing. As the Pensacola mission showed, a single storm could neutralize a military offensive and threaten these massive transfers of wealth. Even without storms, the Atlantic posed risks from the cargo itself. A report from London details a mutiny involving prisoners from Newgate. 61 felons being transported from the prison staged a takeover of their vessel. After the ship sprang a leak, the master ordered the convicts to assist him with the pumps. Instead, 16 of the men bound the captain and hijacked the ship, sailing it to Vigo, Spain. Most of the mutineers remain at large, with only 5 currently in custody. Other maritime reports focused on sheer survival against the elements. Captain Owen arrived in Philadelphia with news of the ship John and Samuel, which he found at sea without a rudder or bread. The crew had survived for 7 weeks in this condition. 18 people were rescued, having lived on a very short allowance of water and beef before being taken to Bermuda. Whether through violent mutiny or structural failure, the 1721 Atlantic crossing remained a gamble with survival. The same network that tracked naval deployments also carried a trial report from Strasbourg. A man was tried and convicted for transforming himself into a wolf in a formal court of law. The charge alleged he had devoured a great number of sheep belonging to local peasants. The sentence handed down was for the man to be beheaded and afterwards burnt. The original dispatch carefully notes that the specific evidence used by the court to secure this bizarre conviction was completely omitted. The report ends with a skeptical note, suggesting the court of justice that passed the sentence were the ones transformed into another sort of animals. In these columns, the tracking of silver bullion and East Indian diplomacy sits alongside the formal execution of a man for lycanthropy. This 2-page layout provides a snapshot of the information that reached a reader in Philadelphia in the spring of 1721. It details the massive concentrations of wealth, gold dust and pieces of 8, that powered global politics. It records the persistent danger of the Atlantic, where ships were routinely lost to storms or internal uprisings. And it shows that this global trade network still functioned alongside a legal system that prosecuted supernatural transformations. For the colonists, these events were not isolated. They were the collective news of the week, arriving all at once. This document is a record of the raw intelligence available in 1721. It remains a physical archive of the specific risks and reports that shaped the perspective of those living in Britain's American colonies.
The Daily Dispatch, history in print. No modern gloss, no modern